Welcome back. Welcome back to the Sports Desk Live here on YouTube. We are back with week 6 of the Jacksonville Jaguars weekly matchup show with Mr. Mood and Chains. I am merely a moderator here to add to the conversation. My name is Dedrick L. Hicks Jr., one third of your sportsologist, back at it for another episode, man.
Yes, sir. And I'm moving chains. 130 is sportsologist. It's been good the last 2 weeks. We've been we done found the little groove. So we're trying to stay in that groove, get this first home win. Hopefully everybody show up and show out for this team, and hopefully they show out on the field and give us a reason to show up and show out.
Absolutely, man. So as always, before we get started, we are new here to the YouTube space. So do us a favor and hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It does us a big favor and it carries it a long way to let all the sports fans in the world out there that there's a new sports brand out there trying to make its way. So we appreciate the support as always here on YouTube. So show you guys some love, man. Rock with us, man. We're gonna continue to build and grow this thing. And you'll be able to say you was there from the beginning. All right. All right, Rashad, Mr. Mood and Chains. We are ready for another episode, week 6 of the weekly matchup show with Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's go ahead and get to it, man. Quick recap of week 5 of the Jaguars win against, at that point in time, a very red-hot Buffalo Bills team, especially coming off what they did to the Dolphins. Jaguars winning this game 25-20.
Yeah, man. Surprise. Anybody who said they saw that kind of performance coming, especially from our offense when the offense really hadn't gotten into a groove yet, I think they'd be lying to you. But that offense, that was their best performance of the year, and it was one of the defense's best performances of the year.
Yes.
Bill suffered a couple of injuries in the game, but that had nothing to do with what our defense did to their offense, which was one of the hardest offenses coming in the league. They had been beating their opponents, I believe, by an average of 20 points since the week 1 loss to the Jets. So, for our defense to go into that game and do what they did to them is very encouraging. For me, some of the keys that we hit last week, they did hit. Andre Cisco had a really good game. Travis DCN obviously had a really good game. Trevor was slinging that ball around. We still had a couple of drops, a couple of little miscues on the offense and with the offensive line. But overall, it's a win against a quality opponent, and you can't go wrong with that.
Hey, this was, to me, at the point in time of the season, this was the toughest test that the Jaguars had faced. No disrespect to the 5-1 Kansas City Chiefs, but the Bills came in red hot. They came in red hot, and it was a very dangerous game for the Jags. And in all intents and purposes, this was a must-win for the Jaguars. Even though they was coming off a win against the Atlanta Falcons, listen, the trajectory of the attention of the Jaguars was starting to head back south, no pun intended. And this was huge for Coach Dougie P, T-Law, this top 5 defense that we're going to talk about in just a second, and everybody else involved. And they stood up. They looked Josh Allen in the eye, Doug McDermott in the eye, Stephon Diggs in the eye, and they just simply said no. They said, no, we're talented too, and we belong here with you guys on this same field. So very proud of the team all around. And the most important thing that I was proud of and happy to see is that Doug Peterson was calling plays. That's what it was. It was him having more of an input, and you saw it. So I don't know if he called 100% of the game. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, that offense started to look like what we saw the last 6 to 7 games of the season last year. And you had to have that kind of offensive performance to beat a team like Buffalo, who is waiting for the opportunity to trounce on you with the caliber players and coaching that they have. So congrats to the Jags on winning last week, 25-20 over a red-hot Buffalo Bills team. All right, Rashad, let's get into it. We are here at week 6, back in the bank. All right, we're looking to lock down the bank for the first time all year long as we welcome in, just got to call it what it is, the wounded, uninspired, probably walking on their last legs, Indianapolis Colts. Rashad, let's go ahead and get into this week's matchup.
Yeah, I say this, D. I would disagree with that. They've played since we played them in week 1, all their games have been close. And Gardner Minshew has played in every one of them games, and Gardner Minshew brought them back against the Ravens. He brought them back last week. He's been playing well. So I'm not gonna say that. I need this team to take this team even more seriously.
Yeah. I'm with you on that, but just looking at it from the rear end mirror of what Indianapolis is, coming in without Anthony Richardson, you coming in, no disrespect to Gardner Minshew. I mean, he's probably a top 3 backup, if not the best backup in all of the NFL. They do have just a lot going on, injuries all over the place. So, absolutely the Jaguars should take this seriously, because 3 weeks ago we seen what happened when Houston came down here.
Exactly.
Looking at the glass half full, that's what they are coming into Jacksonville. All right, let's get into it, man. Key matchup on offense.
Yeah, key matchup on offense. For me, got to be the Jags receivers against these rookie DBs that the Colts are going to try out there this week. You had success. That was one of your most successful games in week 1 with your passing game. But this week has got to be, you got to keep that momentum going with your offense, with Trevor making sure that he's on the same page with his receivers. Zay Jones got injured last week. I think it's a difference between when Zay Jones is in this game and when he's out. He always makes big catches. He has replaced Marvin Jones in making the big catches for this offense, and it seems like Trevor has a real good rapport with him. And even when he went out of the game last week, you've seen the offense get a little stagnant. They started running the ball more. Glad that he got, a good connection with Ridley last week. Hopefully that continues. But they starting 2 rookie DBs, y'all. And this was the same thing that happened with the Houston Texans 3 weeks ago. But we should not have problems passing the ball, and that's got to be the key matchup for this game right here. Got to. So I don't know how they plan on attacking this team. They're not horrible on defense with the rush defense. I think they're giving up like 120 yards a game. But they got 2 real good defensive tackles. 2 very good defensive tackles that you got to control in order to get this offense right. And if you don't control that, you're going to have an issue, period, in this game. But Jags receivers, rookie DBs, Trevor, let's go.
Yeah, I think all the way around that the key matchup, that's definitely critical with the wide receivers against this very beat up secondary of the Indianapolis Colts. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are 5th in rushing in the entire NFL, and the Indianapolis Colts are giving up 119 yards. They're 19th in the league. So pick your spot. Yeah. Pick your spot. I mean, this should be the most balanced win for the Jaguars this week, where through the air or on the ground, the Jaguars should really be able to impose their will. We're coming in a little bit more healthier than them. We're missing Walker Little, and as you just mentioned, Zay Jones. So those are key contributor factors to this offense. But I just think that what we saw in the second half of last week's game, that was a rhythm. That's the first time all year they looked like they were in a rhythm. I'm talking about from the play calling, getting out of the huddle, getting on the ball, saying hut, and then the play going and doing what it do. So with the Colts, they're coming in overall as the 19th ranked defense in all of the NFL. So I'm with the Jacksonville Jaguar offense that is hovering around the 7th and the 8th spot in the league. Hey, this is the time to shine. Trevor should be a little bit more confident. I like how they had him on the run last week, but the receivers, Ridley, Kirk, Ingram, Etienne, Tank out the backfield, everybody should have their opportunity, spread the ball around. And if things go to plan, I mean, honestly, man, we should be in position to score on every drive going into this game. I'm talking about every drive. We should be in position to score, whether that's a field goal or getting a touchdown.
I can kind of agree with you on that, D. But the last time we played this game, last time we played in week 1, DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, they killed us.
Okay.
they had the inside of that line looking ridiculous. I mean, that was the first time when we said, okay, we got to figure out what we got going on at left guard because this dude is a turnstile. And the center has not been playing well all season either. He don't look like he's gotten any stronger. He's smart. He can play. But the inside of the and I mean, we got a guy who we paying to play right guard who was supposed to be an all-pro, and he's not playing like that right now. Is he battling injuries? Sure. But this week, we got to make sure that we're protecting Trevor up the middle. And if we don't control DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, we're going to have problems. We're going to have problems running the ball and passing the ball.
Well, in my opinion, if you go back to the first game, and I watched some film on this game preparing for the show because this is a rematch, very early rematch of the year that I might add. Yeah. I mean, we're in week 6 and we're already facing another division opponent. But I think the play calling is going to be the difference here. If you go back and watch that game, although really had a stellar first half, it was more of the dink to the left, dink to the right, I formation, single back, let's get NT in the ball, stagnant, and then we got lucky with some boom plays up the field. Yeah. I think you got to stretch these boys out in Indianapolis. I'm talking about give them a lot to thinking about. So Buckner and Grover, they were able to feast because the Jaguars stayed in front of them. They stayed in front of them. So I don't think that's going to be the case this week. Doug Peterson and his coaching staff, they would have had to broken down the film and saw that.
Yeah.
Compare it to the Buffalo Bills defense, which the Bills defense is better than the Colts, in my opinion. And what did they do to Buffalo in the second half? They spreaded them out. Yeah. Got Trevor on the run. Now, don't get me wrong. The offensive line, like you just said, yes, we got some issues there. But they was able to hold up long enough. So I don't think we're going to see the same offensive game plan that we saw in week 1. I think Buckner and Grover are going to be in a different type of situation. Don't get me wrong. Will they impact the game? Absolutely. These are 2 studs on the defensive side of the ball. So you will not be able to contain them the whole game. But I think the Jaguars are going to present a different challenge in week 6.
Yeah. And I mean, if they can, Trevor can go deep. And that's been – Trevor is – the number 1 rated quarterback on 20-plus yard throws this year. He's number 1. Yeah. And we haven't been going deep as much as I felt like we would be going deep, especially adding Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
But with this sample size of the first 5 weeks of the season, Doug should know, hey, although we have these issues on the offensive line, Trevor's been avoiding a lot of this stuff and getting the ball down the field. We need to do that more in this game so that we give these opponents things to think about.
Absolutely.
When it comes to not the dink to the right, dink to the left, we haven't even been running screens and draws. It's just been wide receiver screen. We haven't been running any running back screens. It's just been everything's been horizontal.
Yep.
And we got to get this vertical passing game there so that we can get these guys backed up so that those wide receiver screens can actually work. So if we get Trevor deep, we can do all that stuff that they've been wanting to do on that offense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a second that. That's exactly what I was about to say. Look, the problem wasn't the Jaguars going horizontal. That wasn't the problem. The problem is the timing of the plays being called and the efficiency of the plays being called. That was the issue. We saw the same plays being ran last week, but guess what? We didn't even know it when it was coming because the offense was just mixing it up. And I can see it's going to be critical for the Jaguars, and most importantly, to get Calvin Ridley involved early and often. Why is that? When he can get vertically up the field, this man is fast, this man is strong. He is a mismatch waiting to happen. And if you can get the defense, especially 2 rookie corners out here that's going to be virtually on an island. I mean, I can't imagine them not being able to play man-to-man. If they try to put somebody over the top, the Jaguars are just going to pick. Because we have so many weapons available. So I agree with you. I want to see more of the offense, the play calling, when we're doing this, when we're going upfield. The running game looked at, man, NTN with that beautiful closed casket run. That's what I call it. When he ducked up underneath the defender and shook out to the left. That's vision.
Yeah.
That's vision. Yeah. So I'm hoping that in the fourth quarter, the Jags offense will have worn down the Colts, and NTN can do to the Colts what he did to the Bills to close out the game.
Of course. And key matchup on defense, listen, D-line got to contain Gardner Minshew because Gardner Minshew, he'll make magic happen. you can't rush straight up the field on Gardner Minshew. Now, what you can do is if you're getting pushed up the middle, DeJuan Smoot is coming back this week.
Yeah. Shout out Smoot.
Yeah, shout out Smoot. Smoot's one of the best. I mean, he led the team in sacks last year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but he did lead the team in sacks last year. Yeah. Devon Hamilton is gonna be back. I don't know if he's playing this week. But Devon Hamilton is back on the practice field, so that's gonna help. But in this game in particular, rushing up the middle, Roy Robertson Harris, Foley Fatukasi. Get some pressure up the middle in this man's face. He's about 5'3". You can bat down some balls. You can get him. You can, if you're getting that pressure directly in his face, then he's done. He's done. They will try to get him on the move and get him some vision so that he can make the passes that he need to make. But they don't even have the receivers to make these plays. They do have a rookie third rounder. I forgot what that kid's name is, but that kid is good. He's pretty good. So we got to make sure that we put somebody on him. He's good. He's fast. He's a little quick dude. Right. But he's fast as I don't know what. But he's going to try to get him the ball. But the rest of those weapons, man, it's nothing that you have to really worry about. But for me, if this Jags D-line is getting them, the right tackle is out. They just found out that today that the right tackle is out. So if the right tackle is out, that means one of the two, Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, one of the two of y'all got to get off in this game to make sure that Gardner Minshew isn't doing all that Minshew magic mess that he used to do in Jacksonville.
I don't see it happening. I just don't see. No disrespect to Gardner, because I know his value and I know what he can bring to the position, especially when the team is in a dire situation. I mean, by God, we've seen him down here in Duval County for a handful of years. And when we had nothing, we had Gardner just saying, just fight Gardner. Yeah. And he did that. So I got a whole lot of respect for Gardner Minshew. And yes, he could beat you. He can beat you even at this stage of his career, but I just don't see it happening. Right tackle Brandon Smith is out, like you just mentioned, with the foot injury.
Yeah.
This is, to me, I want to see Trayvon Walker wreak havoc.
Yeah, it's a Trayvon Walker game.
Brandon Smith lines up on the side of the ball where Trayvon Walker lives.
Yeah.
I want to see Trayvon Walker wreak havoc. If they overload and bring Josh Allen on the other side, I want to see both of them tearing through whoever the backup right tackle is for the Indianapolis Colts.
Right.
I'm getting the feeling of domination here. I've been saying this for about 2 weeks now, that the Jacksonville Jaguars are a top 5 defensive unit in all of football. I challenge anybody who's watching this show to tell me otherwise. Give me the information to make me say, hey, you know what? I'm tripping. You're right. I just don't think you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Look at what the Jaguars have done against 2 of the most elite offenses in football. They really contained them from busting it loose.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is, man. And if this Jaguars offense would have had anything going for them, could the Jaguars possibly be 5-0 right now?
Probably.
I mean, probably at worst 4-1.
Yeah.
So let's give it up for this defense.
Yeah.
And all that they have been bringing to the table. And I get the conversation of, oh, we haven't heard Trayvon Walker's name. Pipe down. There's a difference when you need your defensive stars to be game wreckers versus your entire unit playing like savages.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. Shout out Andre Cisco. Rashad called it last week, man. Key matchup on defense versus the Buffalo Bills. He was everywhere.
Yep. Everywhere.
BS call, Josh Allen hitting Josh Allen late in the fourth quarter. BS call, but hey, those are the rules. You can't launch in like that, whatever. But they messed with Josh Allen. They got Trayvon Diggs over there breaking tablets and cussing people out.
Yeah. Yep.
And you want to know why they were doing that? Because one of the top defenses in the NFL forced their will on them. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars completely containing the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I know they got that boy back there, number 28, and he only going to keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
But I digress.
That's the other thing that we got to do is stop the run.
Yeah.
Because this tandem they got, Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor.
They for real.
Best tandem in the league.
They for real.
Period.
They for real.
Period. Zach Moss had what, 150 yards rushing last week?
Yes, he did. He's averaging 90 yards, 5-point a clip.
Hey, man, listen. That's something that we got to do. We got to make sure, and they still have a good offensive line. They still have all pros on their offensive line, and they can show up at any time. And if you're allowing them to run the ball, and their play action is working, and you're not able to get to Gardner Minshew, and he's giving you them 9 and 10 and 12-yard routes, you gonna be on the field forever.
Right.
And that's something that you can't have, and that's the way that you will lose this game, by not stopping the run. So controlling the defensive line, controlling this game is the key matchup, period, on the defense. It's not really the secondary, because you're not really worried about Gardner threatening you downfield. You're not really worried about him, giving you a 20-yard dig. That's not his game.
Right.
But if you're not in his face and he's dancing back there and making that magic happening, that's how you get the long plays. If you're not stopping the run and that play action is working, that's when everything can get into disarray. So this defensive line has to control this game. If the defensive line controls this game is over with. They have no chance at beating you. They don't.
Right. Yeah, you pretty much hit everything on the head for me. I opened it up with talking about Taylor and you brought in Moss, and this tandem, once Taylor gets his legs back, which could be this week. It could be this week. He steps out there and he goes, I'm here, guys. Yep. Then you're dealing with a different aspect to the game that you're going to challenge the defense to completely take away Gardner Minshew and force his running game to beat you.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet on the Jaguars defense to do that. Do I expect Taylor? Do I expect Moss to have their moments in the game? Yes, it's the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm not going to blow my gasket if I took my stat sheet and I say both running backs combining for 225 yards rushing. I'm not going to blow my lid. Because that's the strength of their team. That's the strength of their team. And they really still real deal have the offensive line. But guess what? 200 yards rushing ain't going to beat you when the Jaguars offensively are just dialing it up.
Yeah.
It's not going to beat you. So I'm looking at it on both ends. Taylor and Moss, yes. Contain them. Squeeze them out as much as you can. Quentin Nelson is still one of the best offensive line in the NFL. Offensive lineman in the NFL. They're going to run right behind him. Right up the gut. That's what they love to do with the Colts. Right at center, they're going to try to run them right up the middle.
Yep.
And we're going to see what happens. Can the Jaguars defensive line respond? We're going to wait and see, man.
Yeah. Overall feel for this game, like we talked about with the receivers, the Jaguars should be able to pass the ball in this game. These are two rookie cornerbacks that are starting for the Colts this week. There's no reason why we should not be doing whatever we want to do on offense as far as the pass game. Run game, like I said, they're giving up 120 yards a game. I don't understand. It would shock me if this offense didn't have the best game that we've had the entire year. But there are ways that we can. If you letting DeForest Buckner get off, if you letting Grover Stewart get off, that is going to stop everything. I mean, it will. All for all quarterbacks, pressure up the middle is a killer. Yeah. You can't step up. If you step around, Quinny Pay is going to get you on the end. So you got to make sure that you're stout up front. And if you're stout up front and you're moving the ball, they have no chance at beating you.
Right.
They have no chance at beating you. Stay in rhythm on offense. Like D said, play calling was stellar last week. We stopped ourselves on every single time we didn't score on offense, we stopped ourselves. Whether if it was a drop, whether if it was a missed block, whatever it was on that offense last week, we stopped ourselves. The Bills didn't stop us one time on offense last week. Mm-hmm. Every single time we went down the field, if we wasn't able to cash in with points with a field goal or a touchdown, it was our fault that didn't happen. Stay on rhythm. Doug, if you calling plays, whoever's calling these plays to make sure that this team stays in rhythm, hey, let's make that happen. Trevor, since we called you out in week 2, week 3, you have been doing exactly what we expected you to do. That's what we expect every single week.
Right.
We expect top 5 quarterback play from a top 5 quarterback. And I've said at the beginning of the season, you a top 5 quarterback. I need you to show me that every single week. Because most of the time, the top 5 quarterbacks, they show you every single week that I'm top 5, and this is the reason why I'm top 5. How you can lose this game. Receivers not plastering, corners not plastering receivers when Gardner Minshew was in the pocket. Listen, Gardner Minshew, we've seen what he does. Gardner will run around and do all this stuff, and you'll think you have him. He'll duck away and all that. And if you're not plastering them receivers and you let one get upfield and get behind you, that's a touchdown. And we can't have it.
Right.
You know, that's what will beat you in this game. The big runs. 3rd and 8, they handing it off, trying to just punt the ball or get in field goal range, and they bust one for 20. Those are the type of things that will kill you in this game. I don't know if their defensive tackles really can control this game like that again, but that's the only way that you'll lose this game on offense, if the defensive tackles kill you, because I don't really think nothing else on their defense will kill you. Right. So you contain the defensive tackles, you plaster the receivers when Gardner Minshew's doing all that running around, and this will be a blowout like it's been. I don't think the Colts have beat us in Jacksonville since 2012. This will be it'll be 2012 still. You'll have 2012 to 2023 where this team hasn't beaten you at home if you do just 2 things. Plaster the receivers, keep Gardner Minshew in the pocket, and make sure that you control the defensive tackles. That's the way to win this game, guys. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard.
Yeah, mine is fairly simple. The Jaguars are just better.
Yeah.
They're just better. They are. They're just better. Quarterback plays better. You want to level out the running game, okay? Offensive line, okay. But the defense versus the Jaguars defense versus the Colts offense, I'm expecting the Jaguars to shine on defense. The Jaguars offense versus the Colts defense, yeah, okay, all right. We got potential pressure coming up the middle. It's simple. Roll Trevor out.
Yeah.
You rolled him out last week, especially in the 4th quarter left. You rolled him out right, and Trevor completed some big-time throws.
Yep.
That dime in the right side of the field, down inside of the 20, in the 4th quarter, my God, they should show that at quarterback camp.
Yeah, perfect.
So, in my opinion, the Jags are better. Are the Colts formidable? Absolutely. I'm not going to disrespect them. Even though they're not one of the better teams in the league, just being honest, they do have players that can make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
And they can steal a win from you. They can steal a win.
Yeah.
So we saw the Houston Texans come in here with a rookie head coach and DeMeco Ryans, who I love, a rookie quarterback who I apologize to, and CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
And they came in here and they took the Jacksonville Jaguars lunch money. They also took the keys to their cars, and they also told them find somewhere else to live.
Yep.
So what are the Jaguars going to do knowing that they got to protect the bank, lock down the bank?
Yeah.
I'm expecting dominance from the Jaguars this coming Sunday.
Listen, D, I'm with you. I'm hoping that that's going to be the case. I feel like it's going to, at some point, this offense is going to click enough to where it's going to be difficult for anybody to beat them, especially if the defense keeps playing the way it's playing. I'm telling you, this offense is going to hit its stride, and when it does, look out for everybody. Not just who we playing at, for everybody. Coaching advantage in this game, I still feel the same way. I feel like Doug Peterson is a better coach than Sean Steichen. Sean Steichen has had this team ready to play. I think every game they've played has been single digits up to this point. They've not gotten blowed out, D. They've been fighting.
Yeah.
So this is a formidable team that's coming in, and Gardner Minshew has played in every single game because Anthony Richardson has been getting hurt. So this is a man who's not coming in cold. He played virtually the whole game last week, so he's coming in. You know he's going to have, a special place in his heart to put a dagger in ours this week, being that he played for the Jacksonville Jaguars and we cut him. Pretty much everybody wanted to blame him for the reason why the team was stagnant on offense, the 1-15 years. So he's gonna have a special place in his heart to make sure that he put it to us, and we got to make sure that we don't allow him to do that. So, of course, coaching advantage still goes to Doug Peterson.
Yeah, short and sweet for me, Dougie P. I mean, Shane Steichen is in a, still trying to figure it out. He's still trying to figure it out, and he's coming in with the team that has a lot of injuries in key areas, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be strong in the areas where they're going to be weak. So, Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning coach, you want to let us know you're the smartest guy in the room? Well, here's another opportunity for you, because D'Amico Ryans told you that you wasn't a few weeks ago.
Yep.
He told you that you wasn't. So this is kind of like the same formula the last time the Jaguars were home. Okay? You got a backup quarterback and a rookie head coach. Injuries all over the place for the Indianapolis Colts. Yep. Jaguars coming off a win. What are you going to do? Yep. I expect Doug Peterson to get these guys ready to go, and the Jaguars go out there and really take care of business.
Yeah, prediction for me, 24-13 Jags. I think this week is going to be the week where the domination starts. You're coming back home, please. If you are in Jacksonville, if you are looking at this podcast on a Friday evening, that means you call yourself a diehard Jaguar fan. If you live anywhere in the Jacksonville area, have your behind down to the bank this week to support this team.
Yeah.
Because if we're there and we come out, when they come out of that tunnel and it's a sea of teal, the Colts have no chance in this game. I'm telling you they don't. That Houston game, it was dead in there. And it was dead on the field, and I think it's a direct correlation. If we show up for this team, they have 2 straight wins. 2 straight in London. We don't like them going over there to London, but guess what? They came back with 2 wins. Let's show them the support is still here. And it'll be worse than 24-13. It'll be 40-13 if we give them the energy that ain't professionals. I understand. But give them boys a reason to come back home, man. Give them a sea of teal when they come back home and see what happened to this team.
This is the last opportunity for the Jaguars to flex and show the league that when you play a bad opponent, you handle them like they're a bad opponent. Yeah. Because after this, they go to New Orleans. It's real down there. After this, they go to Pittsburgh. We saw what they did to the Baltimore Ravens last week when everybody named Mama said that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers were done for.
Right.
They get a bye. And then what is it coming in here?
49ers.
So this is it, Jags. Get this win, improve to 4-2, lead the division, and I'm expecting a huge win for that to happen. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars winning this game 35-17. I just think that they're going to come in and set the tone. I would love to get an opening drive touchdown or something just to keep the momentum going. I would love to get that. It's right there on the take, and why not? I look around the league and I just watch different teams, how they start the game. Last night, we seen the Kansas City Chiefs come out first play of the game. It wasn't no handoff. It wasn't no ding, 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 ding. No. Mahomes was in the shotgun, sent somebody in motion, faked the handoff, pulled back, and boom.
Yep.
Down the field. We letting you know this is what it is, and it's going to be a long Sunday.
Yep.
That's what I hope to see from the Jags in their first offensive possession. So, got the Jags winning big, 35-17, and they go to New Orleans after that.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
All right, man. So, let's win some money with the sports desk. All right. So, let's take a look at these odds for the game, according to MGM Grand Las Vegas. Okay. The Jaguars are a 4.5-point favorite. Rashad, we've talked about it. Do you take the Jaguars at the 4.5, or do the Colts make this interesting at 4.5?
Nah, I take the 4.5.
Take the Jags 4.5.
I take the Jags.
For those who are weary of the 4.5, I get it. I get it. but take the Jags 4.5. Over under on this game is 44 points. 44 points over under. What are you thinking?
Ooh, that's a lot of points. Unless the Jaguars have an offensive explosion like that, and Gardner Minshew is capable of having a terrible game too. You want to take the over in that game?
Take the over, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll take the over, y'all. Take the over.
I think the Jags are going to score, and I think Gardner's going to have his moments, and we're going to be scratching our heads watching the game saying, well, damn, defense. But that's what he does.
Yeah.
That's what he does. So take the over, 44 on that. And money line, we've already called our wins. They have the Jaguars minus 200, which is kind of wild, versus the Indianapolis Colts at plus 165. So the MGM and Las Vegas are very hesitant. That's what I was talking about earlier in the show, where the media and everybody involved are kind of saying, all right, Jags, we've shown y'all a lot of love. We gave you 12.5 versus Houston, and you made us look crazy.
Right.
I understand it, but take the Jags money line at minus 200. All right.
Yep.
All right, man. So that is going to wrap up another episode of the Weekly Jaguars Matchup Show with Mr. Moodham Chains, Rashad Robinson. I am merely your moderator, once again contributing to the conversation. Dedrick L. Hicks Jr., 1/3 of your sportsologist.
Yeah, man, and I'm Moodham Chains, and I will remain Moodham Chains for the rest of the year. For anybody who was wondering, I was upset, but it seems like we done righted the ship, man. So we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right, D.
We are, I believe so. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a beautiful day down at the bank at TIAA field. Come out, like Rashad said, come out, get your tickets, come tailgate. Come down to the city, man, and show love and show support, because this team is going to have a lot to play for, and we don't want to bail on them now. We understand we had a rough couple of weeks coming after the Kansas City game and then coming after the Houston, Texas game. But listen, we saw fighting this team in London. They could have went over there and laid down.
Yeah.
They could have. But we saw, not only did we see wins, we saw improvement. So y'all come on down to the bank, have a good time, watch the game, cheer for the hometown team, and let's see the Jaguars get this win. Rashad, any last things before we get out?
Hey, man, just go Jags, man. Y'all show up, man. I need a full stadium, man. I need a stadium full of teal on Sunday, man. This is a game that we all should be that we all should be excited about. This should be a celebration. I want to be hitting the wave in the middle of the fourth quarter, y'all. We did the wave in a long time in the bank. It's been years since we did the wave in the bank. Like, I'm serious. I'm going to start it. We should be up by 20 in the middle of the fourth quarter, and I'm going to start the wave. Y'all just look for the wave in section 216. It's going to start right there. Middle of the fourth quarter. Look for moving changes. For
sure, man. So we're going to see what happens. We'll be back here next week, week 7, and preparing for a really interesting outer conference matchup with the New Orleans Saints. Rashad, I believe you will be at that game, correct?
I will be at that game. I see y'all. I know half of Duval going to that game. We go be there. We go be real loud for that one. Y'all go hear us.
And the show will be airing early next week because the game is on a Thursday. All right. So the weekly matchup show will be coming to you a little bit earlier than your YouTube due to the Jaguars kicking off on a Thursday night. All right. So until next time, y'all know what it is.
Yes, sir. Duval County.
Y'all be cool, man. Go Jags.